The crew worldwide, from Cali to Twitter, real hardcore fans, boxing ass niggas, consistency cops, police the views, we'll pull up receipts for any debate you choose. Shout outs to Clan Archie for the dope production. Ring Gang stay with the best discussions. Ring Gang Radio.
And then on the same night too, there was the card that fades on ESPN. I like to call it the card that fades because the fights on there was, the first one was Isaac Dogboe versus Emanuel Navarrete, which was a rematch from the fight from December. And by that December 2018, Dogboe was possibly on a campaign for, was on a campaign for Fighter of the Year. He won the interim belt from Cecil Juarez, who gave Donaire all that he gave all types of trouble to.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and then he knocked out Magdaleno for the full belt in a Fight of the Year candidate, and then he knocked out your random unknown Asian in one round, and this was a fight I believe he didn't even have to take. He didn't have. He could have just chilled, and it's like, he probably would have been, but he was like, hey, Niho, you know what I'm saying? You gotta, he wanted to catch some more wreck, and in doing so, he turned in another Fight of the Year candidate type of battle, but it was a battle which he took a boatload of punishment, and lost his belt. So the rematch we're all looking to see Dogboe was like, okay, training he didn't have a good camp or whatever. And like, okay, that happens. That's the usual excuse that most fighters use, especially former champions. So just let's see, was it just beginner's luck? Because Navarrete, I never even heard of this cat before. Never seen him fight.
It looked like a bad matchup.
Yeah, it was just a bad matchup. First of all, the height. Dogboe can punch. There's no question about it. But I think it was just the height and the reach and the work rate. My goodness,
that's what I'm saying. That's a bad matchup because it's like you have to have a different tactic for each one. The height you gotta be able to deal with the height. That's one thing. And some people can't deal with height. Then that ain't enough. The nigga could punch. Mm-hmm. So okay, height and a punch. Goddamn, that's harder now. A motherfucker with height, punch, and the work rate, jeez, nigga, like Paul Williams much? Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking prime Margarito and shit, though, and this, we're just curious to see would Dogboe be able to solve this problem? The answer was no. The fight was more or less a repeat of the first fight, and it was just as brutal. It was, if not more brutal than the first one. Dogboe, God bless him, he was getting rocked as early as the second round. He didn't have, physically he didn't have it, but what Dogboe was trying to do is he'd get rocked badly, but all of a sudden it would just make him fight harder. He'd go in there just as you was thinking that maybe he was going to get stopped, dude would leap in with a hard right hand or a hard combination and keep Navarrete at bay. And this was like the pattern of the fight. But Navarrete, downloaded his whole style and zoomed, he just upped his work rate more and more. And Dogboe was just catching this heat. It was just, it was actually disturbing to watch. Nothing was coming from Dogboe's corner. You see I think it was his left eye. His face was getting misshapen again. And he went down a couple more times. I think he went down a total of 4 times in this fight. It was getting uncomfortable. And then there was a point, I think it was in the 10th round, that Dogboe's father was like, I'm going to stop the fight. I'm going to stop the fight. And it was like, yes, they can stop the fight. Dogboe's, he was out here catching bricks. He's catching some serious fades right now. But no, they let him out for the 11th, and to let him out for the 12th round. But yeah, I think that at one point there was a knockdown that Dogboe almost went out the ring on some Kermit Cintron type of shit, and it was just uncomfortable to watch. And finally they stopped it. It took a shot that it was a shot that Navarrete landed, but in the process, there's a Navarrete, I think, either hurt his hand on it, because you can see him shaking out his hand, and then Dogboe goes down. But when Dogboe goes down for the last time, his father threw in the towel, and I'm just thinking to myself, oh my God, like it's like this kid might be ruined after this fight. It was like I said, it was competitive to a degree, and Dogboe never stopped trying, and it was admirable. But it got to a point where he was just like, nah, it really wasn't his night, and his father should have pulled him out a lot earlier than the final fucking round, and it was just like, I don't know. I mean, and Dogboe was talking, he was talking about, oh, I'm gonna go to 126. Like, 122 is probably your ceiling, and you were pretty good at 122. Like, it wasn't like you were a bum at 122. Like, you put in work at 122. You put in enough work. I just think, and I was thinking 126 is not going to solve your issue. Where there's some bigger punchers in that division. So yeah, like that fight, Dogboe needs to be rebuilt again. Because it's like it's just unfortunate, because he took 2 horrific beatings within 5 months of each other, 5-6 months of each other. And usually that type of stuff is how you get ruined fighters. So I'm just hoping that Bob sits down and is like, okay, I need to rebuild this guy. I need to put him in with some soft touches, and try to sway him not to go to 126. He doesn't need to go to 126. Not yet.
He got plenty of work where he at. He got to work on himself now. Like,
exactly.
People be beatings, man. And we didn't want to see him take this rematch in the first place. Like, it felt like he could have got a confidence booster, confidence win to, retool himself, came back. But, it didn't happen. He got hard, but, you had a level in the game where you need more than hard. Thinking about your career, you need to, all of that.
Right, exactly. You don't want, and his career is still promising. And, just like, it's just a bad style matchup, physical style matchup. But you don't want to see him taking all this type of punishment, and it's just like, I'm pretty sure those 2 fights probably softened him up a little bit. Pause. And it's just like,
your punch resistance go down, especially a bigger dude is raining punches on you. You're not the most defensive guy, so you eat them shit.
Right, exactly. Over time, like each of those 2 fights are the worst type of fights to actually experience, put yourself through, because they were just prolonged beatings.
Yeah.
And this time around, he got stopped. So it's just like, Dogboe, you just need to chill out. First, Dogboe needs a rest. He needs a trainer change. And then, like I said, they need to give him the level of punch that Oscar Valdez got after he got a jaw broke by Craig.
Yeah.
He needs that type of opponents like that. Like, they have to, because they have to see where he is physically. Because if they don't give him that type of, if they put him in with like another puncher, I have a feeling that things will go south quick. So.
Yeah, agreed wholeheartedly.
And Navarrete, though, Navarrete is now, he's a player now at 122. Now, who is he going to fight at 122 remains to be seen, because the other 122 champions are kind of scattered all over the place. I think most notably on DAZN. That's where most of them are right now. So, well, at least in this case, I think top rank, Eddie and Bob have a working relationship. So I don't think it's out of the realm that, he can probably challenge a top-ranked champion or Golden Boy champion or.
Never say never, but you never know in this day and age. There's a bunch of fights that we want to happen that probably ain't going to happen. So.
That's true. That's very true, unfortunately. But hey, we got to put it in the air that Navarrete at least gets a chance, if anything, to actually unify against another champion, because 122 has good champions. We just want them to. We just referenced the Doheny-Broman fight,
Yeah.
So it would be nice to see Navarrete in the ring with Roman, which would be a fight of the year candidate, or with Ray Vargas, which would be another Fight of the Year candidate. You know, yeah. I mean, these fights are what will. These are the fights from him. But hey, I mean, Navarrete's. I mean, if Navarrete wants to take a soft touch, you know, fuck it. Let him take that one soft touch or something that's not non-mandatory. Fuck it. But I just hopefully that Navarrete actually gets a chance to actually get another high level opponent. That is, of course, if he doesn't scare him away with his work rate and his punching power and everything.
Everybody shook now, like, man, I don't want that Isaac Dogboe treatment.
I don't know. But and there was another fight. The main event, Miguel Berchelt versus Francisco Vargas. The backstory on that one. Oh, what was that?
No, I said 2.
Oh, yeah.
The rematch. But yeah, my bad. Let me fall back.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, the backstory was, I mean, Berchelt won the belt and got the super featherweight belt by beating Vargas and taking his arrow. And Vargas at that time had been put through the ringer in his previous 2 fights. One with Miura, which completely overshadowed the Canelo Cotto card, the Canelo fight in spades.
Facts. Damn, Canelo was connected to every good fucking fight somehow.
Yeah.
He's never in one. Oh, except the Triple G rematch.
Exactly.
But he's always a day or a week away from a fight, a great fight, an undercard, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I mean that was the perfect example of an undercard fight. I'm telling you, the main event, and did that one in space. He actually won the Fight of the Year for that year in 2015. And then the next fight for Vargas was against Orlando Salido, and that one was basically this was coming after either the day or the day after the death of Muhammad Ali. Right. So I mean that card itself was all emotional and whatnot. And the
same weekend of Thurman and Porter as well. Was that fight around the?
No, it wasn't that weekend because the reason why is because I went to that fight and that I didn't miss that. I saw both fights, you know, as they were going. So it definitely wasn't on the same time. It might be it might have been a week or 2 apart. But definitely Salido and Vargas was definitely. I watched that live.
That was a great fucking fight. Salido, I thought should have won that.
Hell yeah! And that's the one fight that I said I wanted to go to. Like I had, you know, I was trying to get to there because I was like, oh man, like I feel something special was going to happen or something crazy was going to happen. But you know, like I think it was in StubHub, I think, or something there, and buying tickets to California. Like last minute is a pain in the butt. Not just the price wise, but trying to get the right flights back. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't pull it off, and I was just watching it. I was like, God damn it, I'm missing the best fight of the year. And of course that fight got best fight of the year. But Vargas took a boatload of punishment in those fights, which led to Berchelt. And again, you know, the first fight was bloody and brutal. It was reminiscent of them old school HBO Boxing After Dark cards where a nigga can get faded anytime, anywhere. You know, it was that type of fight. I mean, it was blood, and then finally Vargas was just so bloodied up they had to stop that fight. And it was close on the cards in the 11th round. So Berchelt at that time is just, in the meantime, for the last couple of years, has been knocking off some of the 130 stalwarts, you know, from Miura to Roman to Salido. You know, basically, I mean, he's been pretty active, and then Vargas, of course, had a long extended rest. I think he only had like 2 fights in the last couple of years. The notable fight, of course, was Rod Salka, who wore them stupid ass
build the wall
trunks and got punished for it. You know,
yeah,
stupid ass. But then after that, Vargas was, you know, I think he was wildly inactive after that fight. So when this fight was announced, I'm just thinking to myself, like, Vargas is the older guy at this particular point. So I just couldn't see how he would win this fight, barring, you know, catching Berchelt. And Berchelt, like I said, had been cleaning up 130.
Yeah.
So, the fight comes around, and LB, I know you saw this fight. What did you think of Berchelt Vargas 2?
It was competitive for like maybe 2 or 3 rounds. Although one guy was winning it, but it's like your typical, Eric Morales type of fight, action-packed ass whooping. And then it just went to a whole nother level, and Berchelt just really just was piling it on with the combination, the hooks. Jeez, like like Vargas should retire. Like that. Francisco Vargas can fight, he can rumble, but he's obviously on a slide, and I don't want to see him get any worse. I almost feel like his career wasn't even that long. I feel like one moment I was watching Vargas put away Juan Manuel Lopez, and then the next thing you know is like he's fighting Salido in a war, and then now his career over.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't so like Vargas before, because I have watched Vargas before those fights, and Vargas used to be, because he knocked out Juan Ma. I think that was one of the first couple fights I've seen with him, but it was a different style. Like, he wasn't brawling, whatever. But just the Mexican came out in him in those fights, and it was just like he got addicted to this brawling shit. And with Berchelt the second time around, they were both throwing, but Berchelt was landing more. Like, Berchelt was landing heavy bag combinations. He was like 1-1-2, 1-2, 1-2-4, 1-2. Like, he was
digging into all them shots. Honestly, it's the type of performance I thought Spence should have had against Mikey.
Yeah.
Because even though Berchelt was on his back foot backing up, and Vargas was coming forward, he was throwing those heavy shots, kind of like how Keith Thurman, when he's running around and he stop and he throw heavy bombs. Mm-hmm. Like, Berchelt was doing that, but he was throwing like 3 and 4 bombs, like hooks, like pow, 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 uppercut, like god damn, like wow, like it's just a total outclassing, just domination. I want to see Berchelt getting some bigger fights. Vargas, man, good career. He brought a lot of entertainment, but just too many tough fights.
Yeah,
too many back-to-back tough fights.
Yeah, dude expired. Like, and I remember I was texting you too. Like, when they stopped it in the 6th round, like, they combined for almost like 1,100 punches. Like, that's some serious work rate. And I forgot the finish, but Berchelt really was landing. Jose Diaz had to pull Vargas out of the fight, because it was just like, he's getting his ass whooped. Because at the end of that last round before the stoppage, Vargas was just getting lit up, and he wasn't going to stop. And like, I'm just surprised that Vargas didn't even go down. Like, and that's the worst thing. Like, Vargas,
he took all of them shits. Like, man,
like that's not normal. Like, and Vargas went down against Miura, but Miura has has one of them retarded left hands. You don't know where that power comes from. But he didn't leave his feet against Salido or Berchelt in both fights, which I thought which is incredible.
He was rocked in both fights, because I felt like Salido rocked him a couple times in that bout.
Hell yeah. But Vargas really shouldn't be fighting no more. Like, enough is enough. Like, you bleed.
Yeah, somebody, call that a career now. Like, don't want to. If y'all trying to get him a one more win, and y'all trying to get him a little jobber so he could go out in front of the Mexican fans or whoever, boxing fans, anybody, please have don't nobody dangerous. Just because I know sometimes people want to go out on a win.
Right. Exactly.
So, if you do that, just do it, and just, do it. I don't want to see this man take any more serious fights like that. Like, no serious fighter should accept the serious fight from him.
Exactly.
Like, don't, y'all niggas ain't forcing you to take these fights, man. Y'all can say no. Shit.
Yeah, but
y'all say no to all these other fucking fights.
Word.
Yeah, niggas ain't got no problem saying no to sign to the zone.
Right. Oh man, but yeah, Vargas. I mean, Vargas had a good career. Decent career. He became champion. But yeah, the shit is done. And Berchelt, I know from reading the news, he wants the winner of that Ito Herring fight that's gonna be in July. The one that's in your area or your state, I should say, LB. And.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm not even mad at that fight. I mean, if he wants the winner of it, it's probably the easiest for him to make. Since it's top rank. So I was like, fuck it. If we'll get a unification, that's probably the easiest fight.
Yeah, hopefully we get that like in the fall or winter or something this year. Stop with these fucking fight marinatings and we can stretch it out. Nah.
Right.
If these niggas available and the timing is right, make that shit happen.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, 130 is the rare division that doesn't do a lot of unifications. They for whatever reason, who knows? Like I said, as I mentioned before, the last time they did a unification was they had a unified champion was like 13 years ago. And that's kind of insane. That's the case.
All these belts, nigga.
All these belts and not even one unification attempt. In all that time, it's weird. But I would definitely welcome that fight for Berchelt because it's time for him to either fight a top 130 fighter or start cleaning up the other champions. One or the other.
Yeah, or move up to Lomachenko or something.
Exactly. You gotta keep because right now he's in his prime. Like everything about him right now is prime.
And it looked like he could do 135. Like if nothing else is at 130. Although I feel like he should stay at 130. Get at least unified once, and maybe next year. But he got options. I just want to see him lead the Francisco Vargas of the world alone.
Yeah, exactly.
And shout out to Fernando Vargas. Fuck all that.
Francisco Vargas. Oh, you said Fernando.
Both of them, nigga. Both of them. Francisco and for Fernando. Y'all gave us some damn great fucking fights.
Word. Yeah, that's real talk. So, both those cards, ESPN and PBC on Fox, was lit. It was a lit weekend of fights. And for those that, were disappointed with last weekend's fights with Canelo and Jacobs, it's sometimes you gotta look a little deep. Sometimes, marquee fights are what they are, but sometimes there are other fights on there that are just as good on paper, and sometimes deliver in the ring. So just I know most people like to do their knee-jerk reactions.
Yeah.
On if a significant marquee fight doesn't pan out, and unfortunately, like I said, that was the case with last weekend. Do not let fights like that dissuade you from watching boxing, because sometimes, like I said, sometimes you get your gems that that do air on free TV or whatever, and bam,
you can stop stargazing.
Yeah, exactly. Boxing is a large part. There's a lot of fighters in there. Don't just follow the stars. There are other quality fighters that will give you the fights that you're probably looking for. Just gotta make the effort to watch them. Period.
Especially if you train in boxing. If you're a boxer now, you're training, or whether you trying to be amateur, pro, whatever. Get into the habit of watching everybody, because you can pick up shit from everybody. The things you could do and shouldn't do. All of that. Don't just fall into a habit of watching the top fighters, because a lot of times certain styles or nuances aren't represented at the top level, and that's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah, definitely how it is sometimes. So, but yeah, it was a wonderful weekend of fights. My fight spirits were high. I had a little bit of a fight high. I didn't feel like I wasted my evening watching any of those cards. And that's how it's supposed to be.